I didn't say it. I'm wearing the Soldatna. If you're wondering. It's one that I have, it was Quincy Coat Sparrow, which is on a linen, held with Shibui mohair. He did that to literally go forward 10 feet. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm Coco.
I'm Marika, and we are
two friends who like to knit, and we're going to tell you about it. This podcast, it's called Knit's All Right.
And it's been a little while.
It's been a long while. I'm in Los Angeles, and Marika.
I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And for the foreseeable future, this is our life now. Marika has made a semi-permanent to permanent move back to Albuquerque.
Yep.
And I have moved from an apartment to a house in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So, hence our long absence. And it's been a very, I don't know for you, but traumatic experience for me.
Yeah, I feel like mine was traumatic in a different way.
Well, you lost something in the mail, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't lose it. UPS destroyed some of my stuff that I had shipped and then told me that it wasn't a loss, that it was only damage, even though none of it ever made it here and there's no way to recover any of it. So that was fun.
And some of it is yarn?
Yeah, so basically all of my mohair and the, what was it, Kobu?
Uh-huh.
I had bought like a bunch of, I bought 2 colors of the Kobu to make that
Langlone, right?
Langlone, yeah, shirt a while back, and I made it in the mauve, but I had a shirt quantity of gray, so that's gone. Yeah, along with some other cherished belongings that I'll just never see again. So that'll be good.
Oh, that feels slightly more traumatic than mine, although with any move that me and my husband make, I have lost a fair amount of glassware. Some pots that I hand through have not made it.
Oh.
And yeah, we've lost some along the way. Glassware is not our strength.
The bowl that you made me, that survived.
The bowl that I made you?
Or that you made and gave to me. It wasn't made specifically for me. It was just made by you and then given to me.
That's great.
But yeah, it survived.
Nice.
So yeah, but it was good. You know, I had done a big purge of stuff, you know, in anticipation of the move. And then, you know, I'm kind of in the process of repacking and reorganizing everything that got moved. And so there's getting rid of even more stuff. So I guess it was just the universe telling me, like, don't have so much stuff.
Time to let go.
Yeah. And also, yeah, don't have such like hard ties to material things.
Yeah, I have to admit, throughout the years of moving, I have lost that like feeling of close ties to things. There's very little I have from like my childhood or anything like that. So I'm not too ate up. I just thought it was kind of interesting that of the things that were broken, it was all like stuff I had made.
Yeah.
Right. Guess I didn't make it strong enough or something. The tile on my new kitchen floor is very firm. If anything hits it, it's gonna shatter. We've learned. So there's that. But let's see what else. I'm also renovating a bathroom, and I would like to announce that I have a functional shower now.
Woohoo!
So it's times like these that you really like. Marika and I have lived for a long time having to go to laundromats because there's no in-unit washer dryers in Los Angeles unless you want to pay a premium. So we've known it for a long time, but it's always a great feeling when you've got a dishwasher, a washer dryer that's functioning, and a shower. It's like, I know people think that's like the bare minimum, but it's sometimes a real struggle to keep those things going all at the same time.
Yeah.
And we finally, in this house, after about a month, have it together where we have those things functioning. So we've only small tears, but it's working out. Nice. Anyways, you're not here for the home updates, although Marika's here for the home updates. I'll update her. But we're here for the knitting. So, Marika, do you have any finished objects?
I have no finished objects. I just recently, like within the last few weeks, put something, like started knitting again, because basically like January to mid-March, 3/4 of the way through March, I didn't knit at all, just because I was trying to pack up my life in LA.
Yeah. I stress knit. So during that same period, I knit a blanket, which I won't call it a finished object because I have not woven in all the ends. They are just dangling. But I did the Easy Puzzle blanket by Purl Soho. I don't know if you could hear me through the blanket, and everybody has been knitting the triangle wrap, half triangle wrap, because Caddy Jacks, which is a podcast, everybody knows, but I'm reminding Marika, she doesn't watch as many podcasts as I do. It's a podcast, and they are doing a cal where it's basically two really large triangles that one is half of it's one color, half of it's another color. And it's all garter stitch. And when everyone started to do it, I was like, I don't know if I've got the energy for that much garter stitch. I just think I would be like bored and annoyed. And then we started to do the house hunting and all the paperwork and the whole like financial deep dive, and I started to get super stressed out, and Marika was leaving me. And so then I was also overwhelmed by how much yarn I had in my stash that I didn't have a plan for, because it was all starting to come out. I think last time we talked about my husband watching me, and I was like, bro, don't do that.
Yeah.
But so I cast on this guy because I was like, it's just knitting, so it's all garter, and it was super easy. And I, through this, saw the value of why everyone's doing the half wrap. Although that one's just 2 colors. I think I might do it next. I just have to figure out my colors, because I did see the value in just like mindlessly knitting through a very stressful period in your life. So anyways, I just grabbed whatever I had. This, it's a mixed bag. I can't remember what everything is, but I know some of it is some Purl Soho line weight, and then there's some Madeline Tosh yarn in here. And it's an interesting construction in that it's 4 triangles, and you start at the longest edge, whatever, it's a free pattern, so I can tell you. You start at the longest edge, so in this case, maybe it's this black edge down here. So you have the longest amount of stitches on, and then you're just binding off to make this triangle. This edge stays straight. And then on the next triangle, you'll pick up along that flat edge and knit the other way. Clearly this one isn't quite that way. And then for the last one, you just kind of knit into the straight edge. You pick up on one flat edge, and then you knit into the straight edge. So you don't have to do a huge long seam, because you know how I feel about that. So it was really fun. And I just think you could choose all different types of color patterns, and you don't have to change when they suggest you change. Like in some cases, I just ran until I ran out of yarn, like on this gray, and then, you know, filled in whatever I wanted to. Some of them, they were supposed to have 3 triangles, and maybe I only did 2 colors. So it's really choose your own adventure. I ended up making what they call the crib size, which is a little bit like a lap blanket. If you were in a car, you know, where it's literally just like the bottom half of your legs. Or if you're short and you sit cross-legged a lot like I do, then it's a nice blanket. But if you were going to want it to be a throw, they do have a throw size, and it's just, you know, it's going to take more yardage. And I was trying to eat through some like small bits. Like I didn't have full skeins of anything, so I was just trying to do, the only full skein I had was the purple, and I still have some left over. And this one is the Purl Soho line weight, and it's so nice. So like springy.
And they have such good colors in that too. Like that purple, my Amelie.
In that neon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got great colors. So anyways, this is kind of done. And it's kind of inspired me to do the half and half triangle wrap. But I'm not sure of the colors. At least one of them I want to be something that's in my stash. You need 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn, I think, for each color. And so at least one of the colors I want to be something from stash. That way I'm only purchasing half of it if I have to purchase any of it. So I have to dig through my bags and just see what I'm going to do there. So I kind of consider this a finished object, but if you guys want to clock me on a technicality about these ends, I will say it's maybe almost finished, but I probably won't report back on it anytime. So there's that. I suggest it if you've got a bunch of stuff in your stash that you kind of want to get rid of. If you have a, you know, baby blanket you need to knit, it's a great one to just stash bust. And
yeah, I should look into that pattern, because I found out that not one but 2 of my cousins, well, one, she just had her baby like 2 days ago.
So you're behind.
Yeah, so I'm already behind. Although with her first kid, I gave him the baby blanket. I think she was like 18 months old. So I set expectations low in terms of timelines already.
18 months.
Yeah. But her older brother, my other cousin, I just found out that he and his wife are expecting as well, but they're due, I think, in the fall. So a little more time on that one.
Nice. So on to works in progress.
Yeah.
Do you have any works in progress?
I do. So should I start with an old work in progress or a new work in progress?
It's your world, baby.
I'll start with an old one. So coming back from the archives is the Arete. So this is where we're at currently. And I had to stop this one because I ran out of this, which is the Lang Yarn Cashmere Light. So I did get 5 more balls, which I think should be enough to get me through the rest of the sweater. I'm close to being done with this little guy down here, and then there's just a little bit more, and then a rib and a bind off. And then the sleeves in the original pattern are kind of like big poofy sleeves that come and gather, but I want to make them more of like a fitted sleeve to the elbow. So I don't think I need the full yardage that's recommended in the pattern.
Have you tried this one on now that you're in Albuquerque?
I have not. I tried it on when I first bound off, or when I first, got past the arms, but I have not tried it on since then. to
So I'm
see
wondering if you
lengthwise.
still want to do them short now that you live somewhere that's cooler.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily cooler all the time. Like it's going to be in the low 80s today. Um, it just has like 4 real seasons.
Okay.
But also the reason I don't want to do like the full puff sleeve is like this yarn is so fluffy and thick, you know, like that, and it's a turtleneck that I'm like, it's gonna be like a, you know, one of those puffer vests. It's just gonna be all core heat, and so I need somewhere for that to go.
Okay.
So I think keeping a shorter sleeve will help keep me from like boiling to death.
Yeah, and you could always wear something underneath it if you wanted to.
Yeah, if I wanted to, yeah, I could layer something underneath it. Yeah. So, but also jackets.
You can wear jackets.
Yeah. There's a whole world of like top layers that I can now partake in.
Nice. I don't know anything about that. So you're back heavy on this one, or you're just
no, this one was like I once I got the new yarn, I joined a ball and kind of went around, but I'm back to this one. This one has intarsia in the round, which is like really messes with my mind and took me a while to get into the rhythm of it, and it's been put away for so long that I need to spend some time figuring that puzzle back out again.
Because you were pretty, I mean, you were on a roll, but I guess stopping has created a bit of a block.
Yeah, but it's like every time I pick it up, it's so soft. It's so, like, I love the color so much that I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for it to be done. But I just don't have the mental capacity at the moment to figure out the intarsia in the round again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks great. I'm glad it's back.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to want to knit it over the summer, but if you did, you would be, you know, ready for fall and winter.
Yeah, I think it might be something that, like, once I finish my other work in progress, I might try and at least figure out and finish the intarsia part, and then, you know, put it away for a while and work on something else, and just kind of like pick it up in between projects to hopefully have it done by fall.
Yeah. Great.
But yeah. So what's your first work in progress?
Well, I'm working pretty hard on this wool and honey. Yes. I'm down to the ribbing. I just have like maybe an inch left of ribbing to do on the body, and then I can bind off. And this garter stitch in the round has really got me twisted. Like it's it's taking so long, and I don't know. The sleeves are going to be hard. The sleeves are going to be hard to do because it's so not. It's so hard to feel like you're progressing because every other round is a purl round, and there is a way, and I need to look it up. I don't know why I'm being stubborn, but there is a way where you can like basically like turn around every round so that you're knitting one way and then you stop and you go back and you knit the other way and then you just keep going, like, so that you can just keep knitting. But I tried to do it without looking anything up, just like, oh, I understand the concept, let me try it. I ended up with this big hole in the center of the back and then had to rip back, and I was so annoyed that I had to go back that I was like, I'm not looking this up, I'm just gonna do it, you know, the way I know is gonna work, because it's a fingering weight sweater, so to have to go back like a couple of rows and just, I don't know, it made me sad, and I just didn't want to do it. So I'm forcing myself to do it old school, tried and true, just keep, you know, knit around, purl around. But maybe on the arms, I'll look up some tutorials and do it. I don't know why I'm being so stubborn about it. Just because I thought I could figure it out. It didn't work out. And then I was like, I'm not even going to try to look it up. Like, I'm not even going to try to do this again. So, anyways, but it's going really well. I'm excited about how it looks. I'm in a neutral phase despite the blanket. So the other work in progress I have as well is like super beige. So we're just in a beige moment, I feel like.
Nice.
But this is where I am.
And this is a long sleeve?
It's long sleeve, yeah.
Okay.
And we don't know if we're gonna get there. Honestly. I've got it's a fair amount of yardage. I've got one ball left of this Retrosario Rosa Pomar Mondim. How come I can't see how many yards it is? Because I'm not using my eyes. Nope, it just doesn't say. I think it's like 400 yards. I still got this ball left to finish off the body, and I've got this ball. So I have enough yarn. I don't know if I have enough willpower is the problem. So we'll see. This is the taupe colorway. It's number 109. If you are interested. Mm-hmm. I like this yarn. It's a little bit, I had discussed before, maybe it could be a replacement for the Brooklyn Tweed Loft, and it's not. It's not woolen spun, so it's a heavier sweater than my Brooklyn Tweed sweaters, and it's very much like a sock yarn. I bet it makes great socks though. So anyways, it's going okay. I'm down because it's so much of a slog. And after not knitting for so while, I kind of wanted something to be like quick and done. But I have hit a couple of snags, which if I am meeting any sort of resistance in my hobby and my craft right now, I can't handle it. I just like stop and move on to something else. That's why the puzzle blanket was so great. There's no resistance. It's like there's nothing you can mess up. Everything was just, easy. But I also I'm not in a situation where I have everything together enough. Like my whole house has boxes over here. Boxes that are all open and exploded. I'm not in a position where I can just switch to something new either. So if I want to keep knitting, I had to push through on this one because the other one I have that I'll show you, I just gave up on. But anyways, what else do you have?
Let's see if it'll even show up. I can't. The lighting in here is so crazy. Hold on.
Right.
Like I have the curtains closed, and yet still it's like crazy. Okay, so what I have is the top spot on my Make 9 for this year, which is the Fonda by Caitlin Hunter. So yeah, and this is using the Wool in the Gang 101 spots that failed so hard on the Nightingale. So, but it seems to be working out well. This thing is heavy.
Is it?
This is, I think I'm on the 5th or 6th ball. Because these bobbles take a lot of yarn.
Do you think it's gonna like pull apart, like grow a lot when you block it? Do you have a blocking plan here?
I don't really. I may not even block it. I don't know. But I did try it on. So again, when I, got to the arms, it was right before I did the arms. I tried on the yoke to make sure to see if I needed to lengthen it a little more before I did the arms. And it seemed to hold up well. It fell in the right spot. It wasn't like, ugh. But again, that was just the yoke, so it didn't have the body of the sweater adding the weight to it. So one thing I didn't do, which I maybe should have done, what she recommended, is I did this cast on for the collar, where it doesn't leave you a cast on edge. It does, what is it, like The
A
long
tubular
tail.
for this one?
Huh?
You did a tubular or what?
Yeah, the like long tail tubular. Something fell off my desk and I don't know what it. It's my little knit needle things. Yeah, so I did that, and she was like, but if you don't, like, that has give in it, so it was like, if you want a more structured, like, fixed collar, you should do a traditional cast on. And I was like, no, I like the look of the tubular, so I'm gonna do that. And now I'm like, maybe I should have done a thing, like
super structure.
Yeah. But I think what I could do is, like in certain patterns, like for the anchors tee and stuff like that, where they say like go back through and add some elastic to kind of keep it in place and keep its shape. I could do something like that.
Yeah. It's a good tip. I've never done it still.
So that's where we're at with this guy. But I got to the point, like, you're supposed to knit 6 inches on the body after the arm. So I'm at that point, but based on my measurements, I think I should really go to like 8 or 9. So I might just keep going before I do the ribbing.
Are you gonna do this one in short sleeves?
Yeah, this one is like a shorter sleeve, kind of like not a 3/4. Like, yeah, I think it comes to like the elbow-ish area. So, and this is all the yarn I still have left from the Nightingale. That was just from frogging the Nightingale, and I still have 2 full balls that were untouched that are still in the wrapper.
That is so much worsted weight cotton yarn.
Yeah, it was
to
a lot.
have on the body. So you were talking, we've talked about it before because we have chatted since the last podcast, but I think this is the Fonda's debut. We've talked about it. So how do you find those bobbles?
Sorry, I'm just like trying to figure out this lighting situation. Bear with me. I don't know. Well, we'll leave it at that for now.
So
bobbles.
I hate
bobbles. I hate bobbles. I think it might have been compounded by the fact that I hadn't knit in a long time, and so it was like, my hands were not prepared for the intensity of the number of bobbles that were required. And so the first day I like cast on and did like got through like the first couple of rounds of bobbles, and like woke up the next morning and was like, oh my God, I can't clench my hands. I can't like fully extend them.
When this part like really hurts and you're just like, ah.
So I had to work back into it. But yeah, I just didn't like the bobbles because I just felt like it really slowed me down.
Yeah.
But then once I got done with the yoke, I was like, oh my God, this is so boring. I'm just knitting in the round forever.
Because you didn't have the bobbles to look forward to.
Yeah, and I didn't have the chart to like mark my progress either. So it was just like every 3rd row measuring and being like, am I done yet? And it's like, no, obviously not.
It's definitely the problem I'm having with that wool and honey. It's just, it feels like I'm making no progress.
Yeah. I think that's why I like such crazy like patterns and color work and things like that, just because it keeps me motivated.
Yeah, it's worthwhile. But I'll go on with more beige instead. Yeah. So, again, part of my like anxiety over how much yarn I had, I was also trying to grab skeins that I knew I needed to figure out something to do with them, or else I didn't have a plan. They were almost enough for a project, but not quite enough. So I just need to like get some of these together and make a plan. So my first attempt at that was taking this, no, I don't think I have the wall bands. I think I remember. I think it's called Sabra 2, Illuminati or something like that. But we had bought this the last time we went to Wildfiber, and it is an alpaca blend. So I'm making another love note because my other love note is so dense and fluffy. It's almost unwearable, especially here. And this one, since it's cotton and alpaca, it's much more lightweight. I do think I'm allergic to alpaca because my hands were just like tingling, like a numb feeling after knitting with this for a while. The only other time I've ever gotten that is when my hands swole up because I was messing with the lobster pasta, remember? And my hands like legit were swollen. That's the only other time I've had this feeling. So I think I'm really allergic to it.
But did you get that feeling when you were knitting the RBG?
Yes, that's why I complained so much.
That was 100% alpaca.
But then I've washed that one since then. And if I wear it on a super cold day, I don't have the same feeling while wearing it. But for a while, the first couple of wears, I was like, I can't deal with this. So maybe if I wash this one, it'll get better. But I've got a couple of problems. One, I've barely got enough yardage in order to finish this. And look, this is not a normal size sweater.
That's a extreme crop.
It's an extreme crop. And all I've got left is this ball. And I need to finish, you do a provisional cast on and then you come back up and you do the neck. And I've got sleeves to do. So what I planned to do was to pull this out. I had just got onto the sleeve. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to finish the neckline and then go back and do the sleeve. I also bound off the sleeve very tight. And throughout the stress of this whole move, even my forearms are larger right now. So it's like, it kind of fits, but it's so tight that like, I can't, if I bend, you can feel like the muscle flexing this thing. I don't know. It's just uncomfortable. So I will have to pull out this. I left a little bit of a tail, but not too much. And see if I can do a more flexible bind off, or maybe maybe even just purl a row and then just purl a row too, and then knit a row and then just let it like roll up on itself. Not even, it's supposed to have kind of like a puff at the bottom of the sleeve, but I didn't decrease enough for it to really puff. And so it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and it's just too tight. Anyways, I'm annoyed. So, but it was super fast to get through the whole yoked chart section. I'm a little hopeful that when it blocks, this will stretch a bit and release a bit, and I'll gain an inch because it is very short. But I only had 600 yards. And if you do the crop version of this sweater and not the full length sleeves, I think technically for the medium, it's roughly 600 yards. But I think it's like 618 yards maybe. And so I'm 18 yards short, so I got to make it up somewhere. So anyways, this is a more beige, but it will be nice for summer.
A good layering piece.
Yeah.
Or good with like high-waisted pants.
Something very tall, because it's not very long. So those are the two things that I've kind of been once I knew we were moving, I put everything else away. And those were the only two things I left out, along with the blanket. So I kept it pretty conservative. Not a lot to show right now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Did I show the Nightingale last time?
I think the last time that you showed it, you weren't to the sleeve section yet.
Okay, because I finished the back panel and I've done one of the sleeves.
Okay, let's see it.
Okay, I have to go get it. 1 second. Okay. So I kind of did not follow well, I did something a little different than what I did the first time. Is that I tried to keep as many stitches on the sleeves live as possible.
Or around the shoulder area.
Yeah, and then I also kept the neck stitches live as well. Just because I really didn't like the really prominent seams I was getting on the sleeves, and I think that was part of the cotton. You know, it doesn't like meld and fluff together as well as a wool would, but this is like, I think this is a cotton wool alpaca blend, so it's still not gonna fully mesh like, you know, the Brooklyn tweed loft wood or the shelter, you know, something like that that's really going to kind of melt together once you block it. So I kept all those stitches live, but this is the back panel, so you can see, you know, how the stitch detailing is holding up.
It's going great.
And how the color's turning. So you can see how this was the original plan. This is where we wound up. Not quite the full winter wonderland that this guy is, but I think still a nice neutral wintry feel.
That, but again, as we said before, like, you're not really going to place yourself against a lot of white.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Be strategic.
So, and then this is the sleeve. So I did, I don't have to see how it, you know, the gather works with the poof a little bit.
Right, because the cotton wasn't even poofing.
No, it was so heavy. It was just like the sleeve was like down here once I seamed it. So this is definitely so much lighter. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what this is. There's some weird, well, I'll just pull that out. But does seem to hold the stitch definition pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then I made the cuff a little longer than what the pattern called for. But yeah, so I wanted to make the back panel in one of the sleeves just to see how it was coming together, like weight wise and, you know, stitch definition wise before I, because the pattern has you make both sleeves last, you make the front and back panel first. So I was like, we're not gonna do that this time.
That's a lot of progress.
Yeah, and I've cast on, I've basically done the ribbing at the bottom for the front panel now. So this little section is done. And then so I can start the cable chart. Yeah. But that one's just gonna be kind of, I don't know, I'll probably maybe start hitting that one hard like towards the end of the summer. Because it's really not gonna be functional until fall. Yeah, so. But yeah, I don't know if we want to talk about it yet in terms of our summer plans.
Future knitting?
Yeah.
Sure, what are you going to talk about?
The bouquet sweater.
Oh, do you have a plan yet?
No, I just have the hedgehog, the feather.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, should I go get it?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so future projects. We have never knit. We've knit the same projects, but never at the same time.
Yeah.
So we were going to try something new this summer and try and knit the bouquet sweater, at least start it at the same time. I'm sure you're going to finish it way before I do, but at least embark on it at the same time. So you already have all your stuff picked out.
Yes.
And you've done your test swatch.
I did a test swatch. I think I showed at least the yarn before, or the concept for the yarn before, but as I just said to Marika, I can't find it.
So my idea for the bouquet is I bought this hedgehog, which looks real blue in this light. It's not this blue. It's more of a navy, but I bought the hedgehog fiber feather in navy, or I guess it's ink is the actual color name. And so I want to use this with a navy, held with a navy yarn to do the body of the bouquet. And then I still have to figure out what the pop of color, what the pattern will be. So this was one contender. This would potentially be another. I'm trying to figure out where there's a more accurate, like over here. I don't know. Nope, that didn't work. And then I also have this Brooklyn Tweed shelter in Hayloft, which I cannot find at the moment, but it's like, it's an orangish color with kind of like more hints of green in it. But yeah, but ideally have a fuzzy, like a feathery bouquet sweater is the plan. But I still have to find the navy blue yarn to go with this.
I would think the bright yellow would be more in keeping with your overall color palette, but
yeah, and it's like, you know, it's got a good orange tint to it, which blue and orange are complementary colors, so it could work out. This is the only skein I have of this color, and the only thing I worry about though is that I'm pretty sure this is a fingering weight, and so I'd have to hold it double. And I know we had discussed, like, because you were looking at some fingering weight yarns for yours, and you were like, it's going to be too hard with, like, because it's all these floating stitches to have to hold that double.
Yeah, I was concerned about that, but you like a challenge. So then,
as if this, holding this double with something else, and then holding this double at the same time.
But you have enough of the pink?
No, this is the only skein I have of this one as well, but it's a much heavier yarn. So like if you...
That looks insane.
You can see the difference in the thickness.
Weight.
Yeah. So these were both like Purl Soho warehouse sale finds. I don't even know what type of yarn this is from Purl Soho.
I don't know. I think you only need one skein of the contrast color though. I only have one, so I hope you only need one. I hope I did the math right now that I think about it.
But yeah, so I think June is what we're aiming for the start date.
Yeah, because again, Caddy Jacks is doing, well, they might, I don't know if they're really going to do it, but they had said before they would try to do a Junko in June. So I'm forcing Marika to be part of a knit along by participating in a knit along with her.
Which I've never done a knit along before, so.
You're usually like, what's that? You can go your own way. You're that Fleetwood Mac song, very much. For me, I think, I was thinking about some of the pieces I've knitted. They were fun to do. I learned something in the process, but I'm finding I don't wear them very often. So I'm very committed to knitting from my stash currently, and then also maybe like rethinking some of the yarn I have already. Part of that was for the half and half triangle wrap, I was considering perhaps reclaiming some of the yarn from this guy because I don't wear it very much. I think I've worn it maybe like 4 or 5 times. And then I was kind of like, I've never picked it up again. So I was considering perhaps either maybe using this pink because I think I have one more skein of it for the half and half triangle wrap. Or I think I've got more of the black, or the black would be easy to come by if I needed to do more of it. But when you're thinking about like that wrap can be used as a blanket, it's so big. The colors I would pick for me to wear aren't always the colors I would pick for my home decor. Not that I have a bunch of home decor. Morgan has to listen to a lot of me stressing about how to deal with a house. But pink and black is not really like usually anyone's go-to for a blanket. I don't think. It just feels very junior. So I'm not sure if you think about it as like a scarf. I'm just not sure.
Could be very LA, very Angeline.
Who?
You don't know Angeline?
No.
How long have you lived in Los Angeles?
Not long. Well, anyways, that's what I was thinking. Possibly to reclaim some yarn. I'm trying to think of like what can I do with part of it, is your style changes or you think things are gonna work or you find colors that you just love them, but then you don't want to wear them, which is a lot of the things that I knit originally.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling a similar way about my Ramblin' Woman sweater.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I still love the color combo. I love the look of the sweater, but it just doesn't function in my wardrobe at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but the problem with that is I can't rip it out because it was a steeped cardigan.
Yeah.
So every row is just a row now of yarn.
Yeah.
So it is like, it does have to exist as it exists. But I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to donate it. Like, because it feels like a lot to donate.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. And then like you could turn it into a pillow, but it's like maybe that's not even something you'd want in your house with those colors,
Mm-hmm.
So it is, I don't know. I mean, if anybody in the comments has ideas, like what do you guys end up doing with, stuff that maybe you've just grown out of, things that you thought were a good idea, but then, you don't need them anymore. And I think Marika and I are struggling with like having to declutter a lot of our living situations has led us to be like, maybe those weren't great choices in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what to do with them. Do you just hold on to them because you made them? Or like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, if anybody has any great ideas or they struggle, I love to hear about the struggle. Try to be better about responding to the comments in a timely manner. Anything else?
I think that's it. Like, I mean, other than finding the yarn to go with this, I think everything I have on my plan currently is stuff from my stash. So I'm not planning any new yarn purchases.
Yeah, me as well, unless there's like a great sale.
Well, yeah, and I'm also in like, I'm now that I'm more permanently in New Mexico, I'm trying to find the resources here.
Yeah.
Because I had very like specific ones in LA that were really reliable and really great, and now I have to find those here.
Yeah.
Or just go visit Coco every 4 to 6 months and
stock
we'll
up.
spend the weekend buying yarn.
Well, it would be interesting to see if you find any local resources, even if they're like, in Santa Fe or Taos, I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Taos has a really big wool festival. I think it's in October every year. I went a while ago, like probably 5 to 7 years ago, if not longer. So, but I knew they were doing it virtually this past year. So hopefully 2021, they'll be doing it in person again. And then I know there's one store in Albuquerque, but I haven't been there in a couple years. So I have to go see how they've evolved. And then, check out some of the other state resources.
Awesome. Well, cheers. Thank you for
meeting
up. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy knitting, everybody.
Happy knitting.